Getting your smile back sounds life-changing, but is the process really worth going through?
Anytime you're walking into the unknown, it's kind of like, what am I going to feel? I was expecting going in for a dental implant surgery to be on par as my tooth pain or worse. Am I going to be able to be comfortable with these teeth? Are people going to know that they're not my teeth? Am I going to like the way that I look with them? Or am I really ready to take on this amount of debt?
Today, Sharella is here to share the side effects that she was worried about before getting full mouth dental implants and what actually happened when she went through with it. Ready?
I'm ready.
Let's dive in. All right, so I do want to start out with the side effect that most people expect when getting something like dental implants, which is the pain. And Sharella, you actually had a bit of a unique situation because you went through dental implant surgery twice. You had your top arch done, and then later on, you decided to have your bottom arch done as well. So let's talk about the first surgery. Like, what were you expecting that to feel like beforehand?
Yeah, like I had no idea the first time. It was the unknown. So anytime you're walking into the unknown, it's kind of like, what am I going to feel? I know what dental pain felt like, and it was really the worst pain ever in life. So I was expecting going in for a dental implant surgery to be either on par as my, tooth pain or worse. But, surprisingly, that's not what happened.
Wow. I mean, that makes sense to walk in when you've probably been to the dentist more times than you wanted to, and it's been a lot of pain. Was there actually pain during the surgery itself? Walk me through what happened.
So when I went in, I knew that I was not going to be able to feel anything because I was going to be under, right? And so it was sleep throughout the entire procedure. So I felt absolutely nothing while they were doing the surgery. And then they numbed me up so well that even after the surgery, I was still unable to feel any pain because it was like my mouth was still numb. So even I had to be kind of cautious about my hot beverages or hot soup because of the fact that like my mouth was still numb and I needed to make sure that I wasn't going to burn myself because I couldn't feel anything. But as the numbing starts to wear off, right, they do give like pain medication like ibuprofen, and they could give you something else prescribed if needed, that can help you to manage the pain too. But myself, I never felt any pain, only minor discomfort.
That's incredible. And what about, you had this done twice. So was it kind of similar recovery wise?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say, kind of going into the second surgery, I had a thought process of how the first one went. So I was a little bit more at ease in regards to kind of like anticipating pain or not. But because it was the bottom, I didn't know whether it was going to differ from the top, right? Because things are different. So I thought, oh, what's going to be different, with the bottom than the top? But the pain was not it. Like I still did not have any type of pain, a slight discomfort, which I was able to manage with the pain medicine.
Wow. And that says a lot going through two different procedures at the same place. And it was kind of similar. So that's pretty incredible. And you did end up going to a place where the next day after surgery, you got your permanent teeth. So what did that feel like for you? Was there any surprises from that?
No, no. I mean, like, well, number one, it is surprising that I actually could get like my full set of teeth the next day, the very next day, right? Like expecting to get something that was going to be a little wonky or, something kind of temporary. But the fact that it was my permanent teeth the next day, it was very surprising. And then also I thought like, am I going to be able to be comfortable with these teeth, in my mouth? It was going to be something different. And they were surprisingly so comfortable. I remember after getting my bottom set, I was like, wow, they actually feel so good. And I can talk. Like I was talking like right after. And I was just so surprised at how comfortable they felt and how easy it was for me to even just accept them and talk with them.
Wow. I can't even imagine one day going in, having the rest of your teeth pulled, coming back the next day, getting a full new set. I can imagine there's a lot of feelings and stuff happening. What made you feel comfortable even choosing this process?
Oh my goodness. It was really the confidence that the Nuvia team had. Because I had went to so many dentists before that were confused or concerned or just they were not confident with what to do with me in my case. They were always trying to figure out, like, I'm not for sure why your teeth are doing this. And the only thing, option that they had for me was let's just remove them and give you dentures. That's all they kept saying. And I'm just like, that cannot be the only option for me right now. And if that is the only option for me, like, I don't know if I'm willing to get rid of all my teeth right now and then have to deal with daily taking in, taking out, and then dealing with the gums. And I hear about the pain that people get and then like having to get refit for them. And, I just wasn't ready for that yet. And so when I went to Nuvia, the fact that they were so confident in their process and their approach and their ability to help me, like there was no type of like feeling of guilt or shame. Like other places I went to, they made me feel like it was my fault that my teeth were in the situation that they were in. I actually had a dentist one
Wow.
time ask me like, "Why did you wait so long?" And I'm just thinking to myself like, "Oh my god, did I do this to myself? Like, is there something I could have did better or should I have come sooner?" Like, and I'm thinking to myself like at that time, he was probably like the 3rd dentist I had gone to over a span of years. I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my goodness, did I do something wrong? Should I have, looked into something else?" But when I went to Nubia, that was part of that anxiety of even like wanting to pick up the phone or take the quiz. It was like I didn't want to have to go through that feeling of guilt or shame or embarrassment or feeling like it was my fault that I was in the situation that I was in. But never did I feel that way with Nubia. And that's the reason why I felt so comfortable going with them the first time and even back the second time. There was no question about it. I was definitely going to use Nuvia to make sure that I had my full mouth restored. So,
Wow. So it wasn't only this like, innovative process that they had, it was because you felt comfortable. You actually felt comfortable, not judged in that office. And I think that does a lot. It does a lot. And that's again the reason why you decided to go with Nuvia. So I think that's pretty incredible. And that you went through it twice, not just once. You did it again because you felt that comfortable.
yeah, now I know that Nuvia has this cost guide that helps explain the entire process and can help people feel more comfortable with the process.
So I do want to ask, you did have these concerns beforehand of like, oh my goodness, it's might be a long recovery, it might be very painful. Who knows like what's going to happen? So was it as bad as you thought it would be, recovery wise or pain wise?
No, not at all. It was not at all. Like, it was very surprising how easy it was for me. Like, I didn't feel like any long term, like, discomfort or anything. I felt really, I kind of felt normal. As a matter of fact, like, probably by day 3, I was kind of like, should I be doing all of this? Should I be feeling this good to, like, be moving around so much and wanting to grab my laptop and start doing some work from home, you know? I'll never forget my daughter, I think it was, like, on day 3 or 4, she wanted to go get her ears pierced, and she was like, "Come on, mom, you need some fresh air, let's get out of the house," you know? And I thought, "I feel good enough to get out of the house and go," you know? It shouldn't, but I really was, like, thinking about, I am I supposed to be feeling this good?
Wow, wow, that's incredible. And honestly, I feel like I've heard from a lot of patients too that the recovery is not as bad as they expected it to be, and the fact that you were asleep during it as well, I'm sure brings a lot of comfort and peace of mind. I do want to touch on something else, and you kind of touched on it for a second. Another big, fear or side effect that people might worry about once you get dental implants is, will they feel fake? Will they look fake? Was that something that you had worried about before getting it done?
Yes. Yes, and even after I had the first set, like, the tops without the bottoms, I'll never forget, I kept having these dreams about but I could never see what I would look like with a full mouth of teeth. Like, I could not picture what it was, and I remember, like, my worst, like, fear was that I would have these teeth in my mouth and I wouldn't be able to close my mouth, you know? Like, they would be too big or too like, too clunky or, like, I don't know, like, that was the thought that I had going through my head, and I would have dreams about stuff like that, you know? But yeah, of course, I think it's a thought for everyone. I think everybody has this fear that, are the teeth gonna Are people going to know that they're not my teeth? Or am I going to like the way that I look with them? Or, I mean, I think we all kind of have these thoughts of we know that they're not our natural teeth, so we're expecting something to be wrong with them.
Absolutely. That makes total sense. So what did they feel like when you first got them in your mouth? Was there an adjustment period, or were you kind of like, "Oh, this is me right away," or how did that go?
So I will say with the top arch, we'll go the first time, right? So with the top arch, definitely it's new. It's something different. First, my natural cheek were all over the place. Like I had gaps and twists and turns and they were loose. And so I really didn't have like a full mouth of teeth anyway. So actually having like a full bridge full of teeth was a different feeling anyway. But also I kind of had to describe it in my mind as like I have this contraption in my mouth that helps me to eat, right? And so I don't know, it was kind of like that's how I had to tell my brain, like this is in here to help me eat, And so whenever I would like chew and bite down on things, like it was an adjustment period because it's different. It's different for so many different reasons. But once like the brain and the mouth and the tongue and the lips and everybody kind of got along. They started figuring out, "Oh, hello, this is who you are." Then it just became like nothing else. They're mine. I didn't think anything else of it. Once I got the hang of like
Wow,
eating with them and talking with them, like all was good. But
that
if
is
we
so
fast
cool.
forward to when I got the bottom arch, that was such a quicker transition. It was so I'm telling you, as soon as they were in my mouth, they felt so good. I don't know how to explain it. But I remember getting the bottom arch in and being in that chair and literally just being like, oh my gosh, like they just felt like they just were the perfect fit. They were supposed to be in there. And my brain it didn't take my brain or anything to much to, adjust. It was a pretty good adjustment period. Now, of course, the bite, like, because now I'm trying to figure out my bite placement and everything, but that was probably the biggest thing. I think with the tops, my biggest project was talking, right? I wanted to talk well, but with my bottoms, it was mostly my bite. I wanted to make sure that I was biting well. I didn't wanna bite my gum, my jaws. I didn't wanna bite, my lips or my tongue. I was very mindful of that, and, I wanted to be very careful, right, of what I was eating, but even when I was, like, eating, mashed potatoes or mac and cheese, like, I would purposely try to feel it so I could try to just get used to where my teeth are hitting each other.
How do you feel about it now? Is it something you think about a lot, or how does that
Mm.
feel?
No, not at all. It was a really I mean, like, now I just eat anything. I'm like, I devour so much. I'm kinda like,
Yes.
"Oh my god, that was too simple to chomp through."
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's zirconia, right? So you really can bite through
Yeah.
many things.
So many things. Like yesterday, I went and picked strawberries, right? And I'm literally just like, just chomping down, like, no, like there's no effort. Just
Wow. Okay, well, I do have to wanna ask too, did they look how you expected? Like, what does it feel like for you to smile with these? Do you like the way they look?
absolutely. I love them. They look better than expected. Like I could not I don't know why, I just could not visualize it in my mind what I would look like with a full mouth of teeth. I just couldn't do it. Like I was trying so hard, but I never saw that picture. So what I would have dreamed, like wanted myself to look like, I look 10 times better. 10 times
Oh, and you
better.
do look incredible. Those look
Oh,
like
thank you.
those are your teeth, right? You
They're
know?
my teeth.
Um, exactly. So it sounds like, you had these concerns of, "Oh, what if they look or feel fake?" But it sounds like, yes, there was a little bit of adjustment period, but now they just feel like they're a part of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. All right, well, let's get to the last thing I wanna talk about today, which is not necessarily about the smile itself, it's the financial side. So, I'm sure people, after years of trying different solutions, people worry about spending more money on something and not really getting the result that they want. So, was that something that you were concerned about before getting it done?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's an investment, right? And so you want to make sure that you're making the right investment into the right thing. Like you know that you want healthy teeth, you want a great smile, you want something for longevity. But sometimes people think like this is too good to be true. It's like, what do you mean? You can like help me after all these years of me trying to find somebody to help me with a permanent solution. Like, not only are you able to help me with a permanent solution, but you can do it in 24 hours? What? So of course it's kind of like, is this a scam? Right. But you know what? And that is it's valid, right? Because we live in a society where it's like we don't believe everything until we see it. And so for me, it really helped to be able to see like all the testimonial videos and to see all the others that had gone before me. And when I was able to go in and talk to the smile consultants and them tell me of real stories and show me like the prosthesis and like just everything like that in itself, it gave me the confidence that I needed to be able to be okay with saying, yes, I am ready to make this investment in myself. I'm ready to finally choose me and to put my trust in this process because they trust it, others have trusted it. And why should I question it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, testimonials can definitely go a long way, and here you are doing the same thing, which is really awesome. I know people are probably wondering too, like, "Hey, this is not a cheap thing. It's not just like going and picking out some shoes from the store, right?" So, w how did you actually, feel like it was possible to move forward? Was this something you had to pay for all at once, or how did that
Mm.
work?
Yeah. So number one, no, I wasn't unable to pay for it all at once, right? I just didn't have all that money set to the side. And I remember, hearing how much it was going to be and thinking, I don't know, is that something that I can do right now? Like, you get taken aback because in the smaller scheme of things, you think about like what it is that you have responsibilities for in life, right? And whenever you're ready to make like a large purchase, whether you're buying a house or a car or, whatever it may be, like you really have to think about, okay, am I really ready to take on this amount of debt? Right. And so that was just something I had to think about and I had to talk about with my husband. And I would tell you, I remember calling my husband from the smile consultants office and telling him, hey, well, I'm a candidate. However, this is how much it's going to be. Right. And I was honestly expecting my husband to be like, oh, you know, well, okay, all right, that's nice. But my husband was like, okay, what do we need to do? And I'm just like, oh, okay, what do we need to do? Okay, what do we need to do? So
Wow.
sometimes it is the loved one's support, right? Like, you
Mhm.
never want to make that decision on your own, especially when it's for yourself. Like, it's easy for me, especially as a mother and as a wife, to like take care of other people. Like, if it was for them, I'd be the same way. Like, okay, then what do we need to do? Right. But when it's for yourself and you have to make that decision, it's kind of like, well, I don't know, because this is going to put the family in a little bit. Now we're going to have to change some of the things that we're used to doing, to make this work. And for him to be like, okay, well, what do we need to do? Then I was like, oh,
Wow.
okay, what do we need to do? So I remember, saying that to the consultant, and the consultant, he looked at me, he's like, oh, well, we have options. Right. And it's like, okay,
Oh.
let's talk about those options. And so, yes, I was able to make it work with the options that they presented because, they have many different kind of payment plans, right? That fit. And it was one of those things afterwards. I went and talked to my husband and we literally just had to talk about the B word that I had literally like avoided all these years. The budget. I did not want to
Oh, the
once
B word.
once we brought that to the conversation, then we realized like it was really nothing. Really, in the grand scheme of things, it was and no longer going out to eat every single weekend to fancy restaurants, honestly. honestly. That's what it boiled
Wow.
down to. That's really what it boiled down to. I mean, we still go out to eat and we still have dates, but we just don't go, like, out of town to fancy restaurants, like,
Right.
you don't need that.
Wow. So it seems like it wasn't all what you had expected it to be, like this huge burden.
Yeah, right. Because I was at once I really sat down and looked at the budget, we really did. We did a good, clean, "Okay, let's go back and let's really just look at our expenses. What are we really doing? Like, here are our bills and here's our excess, right? And what is it that we're spending our excess on right now?" Right? And when we
Wow.
saw how much we were spending on date nights, it was really like, "Really?" Like, just
Wow.
with half of date nights, we could take care of the team.
That's incredible. I mean, things do really add up when you take a look at the B word. And
They
I'm
do, the
one
B
does
word.
not like looking at it either. I don't think a lot of people do.
I know.
But that's like that I feel like that will help, give people some hope out there that like, hey, maybe there is a few things that I didn't realize I was spending so much on and now this could be possible. So that's really awesome that you found that way for yourself. I do wonder though, how do you find out like what your monthly cost would be? Is it all the same for everybody or what does that look like?
So everybody's plan is different, right? Because everybody has different needs. And so for that, there is a cost guide now that Nubia has, and it is a great tool that people can go to and they can see kind of what an average cost may be. But the best place for people to really find out specifically for them is to go get a consultation, and they will know exactly what the cost would be for themselves and their unique needs.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, you did spend this money. You did get this done. Sharala, is this money well spent? Do you feel like it has been money well spent for yourself?
Absolutely. 100%. Everything has changed, honestly. Like, my confidence is through the roof. I can't speak enough of that. Like, I don't even think about it anymore, about, like, what not having confidence was like. Sometimes I do remember, I'll, like, look through my, all of my photos, right? And I'll scroll through, and I can tell what was before Nubia and what was after Nubia. Like, I could tell. Even I
Wow.
can tell what was before my full mouth and it was only my top arch. Like, I can simply just scrolling through my photo reels, I can see, like, oh, I know this time period. Oh, I know this time period. And a lot of that, that's because now when I go places or I take pictures, I have no second thought about how my smile looks. Like, I clearly just take a picture and smile. Like, before, I used to have to try to place my lips in such a way to where you couldn't see my teeth. Um, and so, yeah, so now it was funny because I had taken a picture the other day and I sent it, just sent it to someone, and they sent back like, "Oh my God, your smile is so pretty," right? And I had to go back to the picture to look, be like, what did my smile look like? And it was the first time in forever that I had not looked at the smile before I sent the picture. Usually I was so fixated on, is this picture okay? Does my smile look okay in this picture enough for me to send to someone? Like, now there's no second thought about it. So that's when I talk about the confidence. I'm talking about the confidence in everything. Like, just even an ability to send a picture to someone, right? Let alone walking into a room and talking to people and, having conversations with people that I don't necessarily know. Um, at work, things have flourished. I mean, there's so many reasons for my why, right? Just feeling like I'm a better wife, I'm a better friend, I'm a better mother. I can show up as me and be me, like truly me, and not just like this muted version of me and trying to figure out how I could work behind the scenes. I can now really be me and not worry about what people think about how I look. Yeah.
Oh man, that is so beautiful. And how long has it been since your first procedure?
3 years, almost 3.5 years, actually. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 3.5 years. Did you ever expect, your confidence or even your life in general would be changed this much by getting this done?
At all. Not at all.
Wow.
I was expecting, like, to be able to eat better and to have less pain, like, I was expecting, like, my dental health issues to improve, but I wasn't thinking about, like, my entire lifestyle. I wasn't thinking about I was hoping that I would be more confident with talking to other people or even, like, kind of being accepted more at work, right? I was hoping for those things, but I could never expect everything that has happened up until this point.
I'm so happy for you, and I'm really
Oh.
happy that you decided to, like, push past, some of these fears that are very valid and common, but you pushed through those, and now here you are, and they weren't as scary as it seemed for you. So thank you so much for opening up and sharing this experience with us today. I know it's definitely gonna help a lot of people out there.
Oh, well, I'm happy. Happy to be able to share.
Well, if you're watching and wondering how much this procedure cost, again, make sure to check out that cost guide that Sharala mentioned earlier. It's in the description below. And until next time, keep
Keep smiling.
smiling.